Hello and welcome to the TechZero Python Learning course. In this video we're going to be covering variables and data types. Now if you're really new to programming, you might be wondering, what exactly is a variable? Well, you think of a variable as a sort of a box that holds some sort of data, and the type of data that will fit into that box is known as its data type. Now as we saw in the basics video, there's no command for declaring a variable ahead of time in Python. A variable is created when you first assign a value to it, and that value determines the variable's data type. So we can name a variable almost anything we want as long as we follow 4 rules. It must start with a letter or an underscore. It cannot start with a number. It can only contain alphanumeric characters and underscores. And variable names are case sensitive. So we can do something like underscore my var, or capital M V capital A R. But we can't do toVariable. That will not be allowed. See, that throws invalid syntax error. You can assign variables one at a time, as we previously have, or you can assign multiple variables on the same line with either distinct values or all sharing the same value. If we do, say, x, y, and z, because we are very original, we say 1, 2, and 3. If we print them out, we will see that we have successfully created 3 variables, each with their own distinct values. If we want to give all 3 variables the same value, we say x equals y, which is equal to z, which is equal to 100. And we'll see now all 3 share the same value of 100. Now, as I said, the data type for a variable will be automatically assigned by the interpreter when you first assign a value to it. But that begs the question of what data types are available in Python. By default, the following data types are built in. There's the text type, str, short for string. Numeric types, int, short for integer, float, and complex. There are the sequence types, list, tuple, and range. There's the mapping type dict, which is short for dictionary. There are the set types, set and frozen set. There's the boolean type, bool, which is short for boolean. And the binary types, bytes, byte array, and memory view. Now let's say we want to see what data type Python has assigned to a given variable. If we don't have access to this variable explorer necessarily, we can use the type function and pass a variable to it. So in this case, we're going to click away from here real quick, no spoilers, and we'll say, let's create a greetings is equal to hello. Now if we type in here type of greetings, it will return string, as you expect, given the fact that we assigned a string value. If we say my var is equal to 0.0, and we check the type of that, it's a float, and so on. You can also explicitly set the data type of a variable when assigning it by using the function associated with the desired data type. So what does that mean? Well, if we want a string, say x string, we want to take the value that x was holding and convert it into a string. We just use str as a function. We do that, and then we do type x string, x str, and now we have a string. Come back to here, and we'll see x str is now the string 100 as opposed to the number 100. Now you can also do something similar with something like float and integer, although you have to be a little more careful with integers because they do not round up, as we will see here. We say my var is equal to 1.7. Then we say my var int is equal to int my var. We will see my var int up here is only 1, whereas my var by default was 1.7. It doesn't round up to 2, even though we converted a float that should have rounded up to 2 to an integer. Just make sure that if you're converting a float to an integer that you don't need the floating point value, or if you do, you can use the round function. My var int is equal to int round my var. And we'll see that my var int is now 2, as you would expect it to be. The round function will return the integer value of a rounded up floating point number that you pass to it. There are a lot of useful little functions like this that exist If you need something specific like this done, chances are there's already a built-in function that will do it for you. And the documentation is easily found via a quick Google search. Don't be afraid to look up something if you need a specific thing done. Now, I've been doing it a lot in these examples, but it bears explicit stating that if you want to output a variable to the console, you can do it with the print function. Let's say create a variable output me. It's equal to, thank you. We can pass that variable directly to the print function. And there you go. Prints out to the console nice and easy. Now you can do things within the print function that is very, very convenient. Let's say we want to combine two strings and print them out at the same time. Let's say we want to add the word kindly onto that. You can use the plus symbol to concatenate two different strings. And now we'll see it says thank you kindly. In addition to that, if we have an x, y is equal to 2, 3, if we say x plus y, you might expect that to output the string 23. It will actually add the two and output the string of their added value. If you wanted to output 23, you would have to pass both variables to the string function, and that will return the string of the variable you passed to it, and then it'll concatenate the two together, and then you'll get your 23. So why this particular method is useful is, let's say we wanted to, let's say num is equal to 10, and fruit is equal to limes. And we wanted to output the string 10 limes. Let's say we had a counter that counted the number of limes. And at the end of it, we want to output the counted number in a nicely readable way. So if you try num plus fruit, what you end up with is an error, because it's trying to add a number and a string. There's no unsupported operand types for plus, integer, and string. So what you can do is you can pass your integer variable to the string function. And if you want to add a little space in there, you can do multiple pluses in a row. And then we'll get our 10 limes. And it's just that simple.